Archers, attack! Keep firing! Let none escape! Another down! Do not relent!
War Within Early Access has started. If you're hearing this, it's gonna be out officially come Monday. I'm Slidewhistle.
It's your boy, Immunization. Hello.
And it's me, Aaron, Fire Mage Extraordinaire and Horde Punching Bag. Or should I say, Fire Mage - Arcane Trickster Extraordinaire.
Oh,
or
yeah, because hero talents
called.
are here now, right?
Yep, I'm in here in the studio with my favorite friend, the Phoenix. He
Is that what it
joins
sounds
me.
like?
Yeah, it does make like a loud bird noise when it shows up. That's sort of like the premiere thing of Arcane Trickster, which probably isn't what it's called, but that's what I call it. And he shows up every time I combust. And then when he ungraciously dies on the floor, he gives me buffs.
Birds out for bustin'.
Also, something I've noticed, this is like, okay, so maybe potentially any Draenei or priests out there, let me know if you know the answer to this, but like, since this came out, I noticed that randomly my eyes are just glowing and like have like this crest over my forehead. I'm like, what is happening here?
Your eyes were always like solid white or solid blue. Now
yeah, but now there's like a glowing gold effect and gold crests on my forehead. I'm like, I'm not a Lightforged Draenei. What is this?
I was just about to say, with the glowing crest, your crop, there's no reason for them to exist anymore. You can be the color white. You can have schmutz on your forehead. That's all they were.
He was standing in the new Capitol and somebody came up to him and was like, hey, so what did they ask? What's your transmog or what's your look?
Okay, first off, they invite me to a group. I was kind of AFK, so it took me a while, but I came back and accepted it, and they were still standing there, and then they messaged the group saying, hey, where'd you get your skin? I'm like, my skin? What does that mean? And then when I started trying to respond, they disbanded the party and then ran away. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll never know what they mean. But then I was looking at myself, I'm like, did they mean this on my forehead? Because like, I have no idea what that is. So I'm using I was using the Oracle hero talent, so I'm like, oh, maybe that's it. But then I switched over to Archon, and then it was still there. So I really do not know.
It's a mystery. It's a floater.
I mean, it is. It's floating above my forehead. I mean, and like, it is cute though. I like it. I just wish I knew why it was there so I can like keep it.
It honestly might just be a Lightforged Draenei asset accidentally being applied to regular Draenei.
Would not surprise me. I feel like there are definitely some broken things happening.
So because this episode is out before the actual release, I think we're going to actually, for the first time in our lives, try to avoid tripping people up on the major spoilers. Because it is kind of crazy that you can get spoiled on the story and not even have access to the game yet.
It is, yeah, and it's definitely, there was a moment that I wasn't thinking about that, because in our guild, I would say 95% of it, people purchased the deluxe edition and they have it early. But then I saw some people like it's like they did the Tuskar cooking daily. And I was like, oh, yeah, you probably didn't shell out the extra $20, did you? Like, you're still back there. You're in the old world.
Yeah, like Lynn had done like a Ruby Life Pools, and I was like to Slide, I'm like, why is he doing Ruby Life Pools right now? And then Slide was like, oh, he doesn't have the deluxe edition and he doesn't have free access. I was like, oh fuck, I forgot that like not everyone does. And Slide, you were saying that some people are just straight up boycotting it, right?
Well, yeah, I mean the price is crazy. I mean, I think it's like, I think what you can get in regularly for 50 and deluxe is 90. I think that's what the math shakes out to.
I thought it was 60-80.
Deluxe is definitely 90. 95 with tax. I know that for
Gee,
sure.
bus. Thank you, everyone who subscribes to our Patreon, patreon.com/do-not-relent. Golly, that was a work
you got
expense.
Aaron in there.
Yeah, you all covered my early ascension. Thank you very much. Yeah, gosh, oh golly, because I can tell you, if I knew it was 95, no way would I have purchased that myself.
Yeah, so, and like, think about the implications, right? Now that means people are getting in 3 days early and they're going to spoil everything, and they're doing it. They're doing a fucking I see like people talking in trade chat about just like anything that's happening, anything going on, nothing specific, but like there's just every kind of little things are in there.
Yeah, I mean, and then like I just finished the Ringing Deeps. So I'm like is that 2/3 of the way through the main story quest line right now?
That is about half because you have
Halfway,
Hollow
okay.
Fall and you have Ankashet. Though I will say they felt slower. Ringing Depths feels really, really, really big compared to Isle Adorned and the other two. And then going through the other two, I was just like, oh, we're breezing through.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there are huge things. I can think of two off the top of my head that are like, it's crazy that like people could be spoiled of these two major things without even having access to the game. Also, I just feel like it's kind of bad to encourage Blizzard to be like, feel like they can profit off of having a few days early for this. I don't know. It does feel weird to me. I guess I get where people are coming from.
I have a feeling that it won't happen again. I think it's been so negatively. I think that they're gonna get a lot of bad feedback about it, but also it definitely felt like a Bobby on the way out decision, right? Bobby's like, charge him $40 more to play early.
Well, I will say this. I hate to say that I don't know if this is because of the quality of their programming or their servers, but 6 p.m. EST is when it started on Thursday. I was just sitting in Dalaran and just said, go talk to Magni. So I was like, wow, that's like a lot easier of a rollout than it's ever been. I forgot specifically Dragonflight, but thinking of like Shadowlands, it took me a while just to even be able to get to the top of ICC. Because I would go and try and talk to Darren Morgan, and it's like, sorry, logging you out, too many people.
I think it also helps that they had two pretty big patches before. So they had the first like pre-patch, but then they had that other patch with tuning and some other minor changes. So I think that may have also helped stifle the blow. But I also think maybe because people also are not buying it, that there was just less server stress, right?
We're able to slip in unmolested because it's just like, you're one of 200. Only 200? Yep, this one didn't go so hot.
Yeah, and then it will also make the actual release smoother because there's a percentage of people that are already like on the Isle of Dorn or wherever. So I just feel like for that reason it's good, but that's about it probably.
I also was looking at a gearing chart, and you aren't behind pretty much at all for not getting early access. So we don't even have heroic dungeons yet in early access. We can only do normal dungeons. And then in early access, we have heroic dungeons for like a week. Then after that, you get Mythic 0 dungeons. M Plus doesn't drop for like 3 more weeks. It's kind of crazy. Trying to figure out where do we want to start, I guess. I guess first thoughts, like
there are a lot of systems and things it has brought up that we can talk about. And I guess I'm just going to dive in real quick. Delves were a big system that was sort of, I remember that being a bullet point at BlizzCon, like, you'll be able to go in delves with your favorite friend, Bran Bronzebeard. What is your take on delving?
So I've only done the first delve because like they basically put you into a delve in the main storyline, I believe. And I will say, like, just to take a quick tangent before I give my opinion on delves, I like how they've been doing that. They did that with like a dungeon as well. Like they just weave those other types of endgame content into the main storyline, which is nice.
And also the follower dungeon, it's with like lore characters.
Yeah,
and, like,
I thought that was really cool.
It's making me really excited to try follower dungeons of like the other 6. And I'm going to be so sad if it's just like Captain Garrick shows up like, I'm here, champion, for like a number of reasons. Like, you shouldn't even be here yet.
Yeah, also it was so cool because like I think you're probably referencing the Rookery because like that's the one that like I first noticed it in, and I just also thought it was really cool that like your tank was like legitimately just a shaman tank. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
It's a little cheeky. Like look what you can't have, shamans.
Although I hate to say, and I tried so hard to pay attention to everyone that was around, but we loaded in and it was like Ergen Earthbloomer, and I was like, who? And I was like, you remember my best friend Ergen Earthbloomer? And I was like, I think 3/4 of these guys are made up, but good on you for being here, lore character.
But back to delves. I really like delves. Delves remind me of Withered Army training. from Legion, but a little easier to navigate. Now, I will say there is a delve that pissed me the fuck off. The fungus one with the knockbacks and but we can only do up to like level 3 right now, and I think there's 12 levels. I don't remember the exact
I
number.
wondered that because I got to level 3 and then I'd go to a different one and I'd only have level 3 and I was like, do you have to clear them one at a time? Like, oh, you gotta do level 3 on every single one before you can do 4.
Yeah, they're really making it so early access you just can't like get straight up crazy ahead. Like you can like do world quests and get some rep and stuff. Yeah, it's pretty locked down on like how much hard content you can do, which I really like. I can take my sweet ass time.
And I have been. I feel like I've said this like on this podcast before, maybe like when Dragonflight came out, but like whenever a new expansion comes out, like I'm not someone to just like rush through try to purposely get like max level as fast as I can. I like have just been really enjoying just like exploring the zone, trying to just like take in the vibes of it, take in a lot of the quests. So like I first started in the Isle of Dorn, which stunning, beautiful, music, amazing. I feel like we say this every time because it's always true. They always hit it out of the park. I was doing like all of the side quests there, which okay, not a complaint. But there are so many fucking side quests.
Just you, I guess not just you, wait, you've seen the Ringing Depths. It's crazy. I pulled up the map and I was like, I had a panic attack by just the sheer amount of exclamations it showed me. I was like, this is gonna take forever.
Right? Like I was at one point I was messaging Kelkis about it, and I said like I'm like I need to like legitimately close my map because I got overwhelmed. Also, when I was in the depths, I like couldn't even see where I was going because there were too many exclamation points with all of these side quests. I'm like, this is a little bit excessive.
Also, we're gonna have to get ready for this. I wasn't gonna bring it up because it didn't matter, but it is actually the Ringing Deeps, which sounds so fucking weird to have to say that and not depths.
Okay, well I did ask earlier and no one clarified, so you had your chance.
I don't know. I call it Machine Head, which I believe is vaguely the name of the people that live there. But I was like, Machine Head as a term is so much cooler than the Ringing Depths or the Ringing Deeps. So I just say, quote, I'm in Machine Head, which I honestly don't say for anything else. Isle of Dorn is Isle of Dorn. It's not the Oathborn.
We should just call it like the Ringing Speakers, because literally everyone is called Speaker down there. Every single fucking person.
Speakers galore.
They even, my man Daggy even says it at one point in a dungeon. It's like, there he is, High Speaker Eitrig. Or is it just Speaker Eitrig? Who's the High Speaker? And he's like, he goes on a little thing before the boss fight, and I'm like, thanks, Dag.
Just like us for real.
He's like, none of this makes sense. And I was like, it certainly doesn't. Especially because it stinks. Sorry, everyone. This is my big apology. I knew everything would be underground. But going from the Isle of Dorn, which is this beautiful, green, luscious space, like cool mountains and stuff, and then going into Machine Head, and I was like, this is the caverns again. It's the Zeralik Caverns.
I love Machine Head. I feel like Zeralik Caverns crawled so Machine Head could run. It's like such a upgraded version of the caverns. The ceilings are so much higher. There's like vegetation on the ceilings. There's like so much more like density on the ground of things to do. I like the Ringing Deeps Machine Heads.
Speaker Central. I feel like so far I like the Isle of Dorn more. I just think it's pretty. And also, this is such a weird thing to complain about. It's not even complaining really. And also it might just be my graphic settings, but like the main city in the Ringing Deeps?
Yes, Deeps is correct.
In the Ringing Deeps, like I just like when I'm walking around, I just feel like there's mold everywhere, like on the actual like sidewalk. I think it's supposed to be like moss, but like it looks like something bad in a dungeon I'm not supposed to stand in.
I don't know if I've noticed that. Maybe I have to look a little closer at the ground.
It's tough because I don't know if it's mold or if it's like candle wax cummies. Because at some point you hang out with some kobolds and they're like, we are moving in. And then
I will say the kobolds are like, I love the kobolds, by the way. They're like one of my favorite things so far.
A defo the opposite. I Literally, I was getting apple cider from my fridge this morning because I woke up at 6 a.m. to go for Sojourner of Machine Head. And I was just like, I think I'm tired of them. I think I don't actually like them.
Wow. You hate the Ringing Deeps. What's your favorite
I
zone?
do. It's tough because I did all of the Isle of Dorn. Like I did I sojourned it on the first go around there. Actually, you can't until you beat the story, but I got 95% of the way there. And then when I got into the Ringing Deeps, I tried to do that. And I think just the quality of the random side quests wasn't as much. Like instead of like, oh, we have to help this Earthen on his last journey, or like, oh, you have to like help this little cute sheep farm. It's just like, grab my candle. Or like you hang out with the other guys, it's like, fix the mine. And I was like, oh, Beans, I don't like this place as much.
I mean, like, yeah, I haven't done the
And
side
then
quest there yet.
every subsequent place, I was only doing the main quest. So like a guy from Hollowfall would be like, my candle went out. I need you to help replenish it. And I'm like, sorry, if you are not Anduin or this new girl, I'm not talking to you.
I definitely made the decision to do that at some point too. I think I was like maybe like halfway done with the side questing in Isle of Dorn, and then I realized that I just had straight up forgot what the main storyline was supposed to be doing. So then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna like beeline all the way through the main storyline quest just so that like I remember what it is all the way through, if that makes sense, and then I'll come back and do the side quests.
Yeah, I didn't do any side quests when I was leveling. I started when the launch started at 6, and I went to bed, I think, 12 hours later, 13 hours later at 7, and I was level 80. I went through the campaign, and when I finished the campaign, I was I think I was 77 and 3/4. So obviously, you need to do a lot of side quests if you don't want to do dungeons or whatever in the middle there.
Yeah, due to me doing all of the Isle of Dorn and part of Ringing Deeps. When it dinged, when it hit the final thing, you go back to Dorigal, and they're like, "We can't wait to advance the story." When you're level 80, and Anduin watched me walk over, pick up a flower, and it was like, "Congratulations, champion! You're now worthy of whatever I had to say." Except he didn't. The map lied to me. It's like, get to level 80 to continue. And then I did, and it's like, you're gonna have to wait for something else, actually.
Oh, is it time gated until the actual release? Is that what it is?
Pretty sure.
Probably. This is very much, it's just like, wait for Illyria to say something. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, where is she? And it's just like,
You'd be waiting for a little bit. I got excited because I thought I could unlock the Earthen. And then I was like, oh my god, I can take the Earthen to the Azerite area, and I could level them with echoes of Azerite souls, memories. And then it was like, one of the requirements is finish the campaign. And I was like, damn it!
because there's like 78 quests in Isle of Dorn that's like, this will help you get them. This is another step. So I was going step by step, and I was like, yeah. And then I went to the achievement page, and it's like, yeah, wait a week, dummy.
It's great. Oh, also, I think I can officially say right now, well, we'll see. We'll see. My Shadow Priest is the one that hit 80 first. The priest is on the menu in some capacity.
I don't believe this. I don't think you would have believed this if you went back in time and told yourself that like 100 episodes ago, or even like 20 episodes ago, even 5 episodes ago.
It's wild to me that you went through the whole experience as this man, and you said, maybe. Like, you got to 80, you did the whole story, and then you're like, what's Bai doing? What's Paladin doing? Maybe I'll do one of them.
Maybe like 2 hours into the questing, he did turn to me and he said, I don't know if this is the right choice, because like I guess like in your Goontometer, you didn't really like calculate into it how important like just a character, like history of that personal character with you was.
Yes. So, well, because like I don't know the story, right? I didn't know the story until I did the campaign, and then I was like, fuck. Like, Squirm just showed up on the scene. Like, he's a void elf that just popped out with Illyria. He doesn't know any of these characters.
He's not even like the type of Shadow Priest that's been a Shadow Priest long enough to have personally betrayed the universe by unleashing Xalatath.
Yeah, he's like, Zala, who? What'd you guys do? I didn't do that. So like maybe like after the uh after you get to Khaz, okay, this is gonna be a trouble. Khaz Algar, what's the
Khaz
area?
Algar, I believe, is the entire area. I mean, technically everything lives under the Isle of Dorn, so Isle of Dorn would have made more sense, but you can't put that on a bill. Khaz Algar, I believe, is the entire island.
Once we got to Khaz Algar, I was like, oh man, I should be on my Demon Hunter. I think this is Demon Hunter business
It's
because
just crazy because that's 20, maybe 15 minutes into the experience. We land there and it's like,
well, think
ooh,
about what
gee.
happens. Think about what happens in those first 20 minutes, right? If anybody knows those people best, and in my list of characters, it's my Demon Hunter. He's the one that would have been hanging out with like everybody going into that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever verbalized that, but like I feel like what you were going through there is the reason why like my priest and my hunter are always just my mains. I guess there's a level of RP to that.
Must be so nice to have to only play 2-to-1 characters every expansion. I'm so jealous of you guys.
No one's making you do anything.
He pointed a gun at me.
It's your own wandering heart that makes these decisions. My love of Growlina is multifold, but it's like, oh, that's just the one I know.
I will say I am actually really liking Shadow Priest. I was doing some dungeons with them, and the hero talent, oh my god, it's so cool. The shadowy talent, whenever I use, first of all, I can cast my purple beam and I can run around with it, which not normal. And when I cast it, it creates like a void frost ball, like a frost mage frozen orb. And it's a void orb that will run around and chase targets, kind of like the arcane lady in Diablo a little bit. Love it, but it's weak, so I hope they buff it.
So what are Shadow Priests running with Archon right now then, most of them?
Yes, and that's Shadow Priest have to. So if you want to do Shadow Priest at M+ right now, you have to use Archon. And Archon's fantasy is like not a Shadow Priest. It doesn't have nasty web weaver in the
What
name
is
or
it?
whatever.
I'm sorry, I mean, I'm going to say this, but Holy and Disc are kind of similar, kind of the same guy. What are you tapping into with that one?
Yeah, because like Archon is the one that's shared with Shadow Priest and Holy Priest. So
Oh, it's Holy. Okay.
Yeah. So like I have an option to use Archon as well, and I believe that Holy Priests are going to be running that in Raid because one of the main reasons is it really empowers Halo, and it just like shoots out Halo and then it comes back, then it goes out again and comes back and it follows you. It's a lot graphically, so I feel like it is going to make a lot of people's computers chug in Raid.
And for Shadow Priest, it's even worse because so like when a Holy Priest uses Halo, right, it's going to be a beautiful golden color. When a Shadow Priest uses Halo, it's a nasty purple circle. And so it goes in and out and it's humongous. It's like half the size of your screen. So like you could easily miss swirlies or other things that are underneath you because it just looks like you should be avoiding it, like jumping over it even.
I just remembered a deep-seated grief that I said, I'm going to bring this up on the show, and I just remembered. So, in the Arcane Trickster path, there are two big things that it gives you. One, you get sinister orbs, or like magical orbs that float above your head, very much similar to the Legion Fire Mage Fireballs.
So I was going to bring this up. You said that your balls were back.
Well... The other feature is your magically fiery phoenix. And when you level a character, you get 10 hero talent points. And the whole thing is only 10 points. So you're not going to not pick something. So I filled out my thing. And the very last one is when your phoenix shows up, he uses your balls. He does special things based on how many balls you accrue.
This ball guzzling phoenix.
He uses when he catches a whiff of your balls, then he'll do a silence or a flame pillar or something. But it's hard to get balls because they just show up every like 30, 45 seconds. People can flame me, fire me for this one. I don't know how to make balls. I don't know where they come from. It's not like before where they acted as just like a visual representation of how many Phoenix flames you have. They just show up sometimes. But I can combust so often now as a level 80 fire mage that this dude is constantly showing up and using my balls. And for a while there, I was willingly not picking his talent that he comes and uses your balls, because I was like, I want my balls. Not only visually, but also like they give you 1% extra intelligence for everyone you have, and I have 5. But I was like, well, I'm not gonna not pick a talent. It's like the only thing. It's just gonna sit there forever. So I have to use this thing. So my Phoenix comes and gobbles up my balls every time, and he's like, only 1 or 2? And it's like, that's all I had time to make! You only gave me 45 seconds!
This ball gobbling, combusting bird is stealing all our balls. You gotta figure out what makes the balls. You gotta see.
This whole time I've been looking up what makes the balls. Because I don't even know if that's part of Arcane Trickster now that I'm thinking of it. It might be a fire mage thing. They're orange and purple, so I assumed it was arcane. But it's like, where are these balls coming from? And why does he love to steal them? Like, it's almost like, do you not use combustion and you build up balls and then you combust and he takes them all? But it's like, if you're not combusting as a fire mage, what are you doing? Like, that is your one big ability.
Balls.
Okay, so they're called Spellfire Spheres. Fire. When you're out of combat, you will slowly conjure Spellfire Spheres over time. So is this useless in a raid? Because in a raid, you're going to be in combat long form.
So when he dies, when Perry Phoenix dies, he gives you 1 ball. But yeah, you're just going to be in combat. So I assume after that first attack, that first use of combustion where he eats, okay.
Every 6 times you consume Hot Streak, conjure a Spellfire Sphere. So every 6 times you eat a Hot Streak, you got it.
So
is Hot Streak just when you use an instacast Fire Blast? Is that what that is? Or
I believe,
the Pyro Blast,
I
guess
yeah, it's the big one that you use I was about to say your 3 button, because I don't even remember what it's called. Yeah, your Pyro Blast. But still, every 6 times, doing the math, you only get like 2 to 3 balls. One of the things you can pick is you get 5 balls. I'll never
I guess
get
during
5
combustion, maybe it goes fast, but like other than that, yeah.
No, because he's using them. While you're combusting, he's stealing your balls.
Oh, that's when that is his prime time to gobble the balls during combustion. That's when he comes
because
out?
he lived like River Phoenix before him. He lives a beautiful and complicated life. He only lives for as long as you combust. But also, there's another thing that's like, combustion lasts longer the more balls you have. Well, guess what? That doesn't matter, because he's using them. He's stealing my balls while he's out.
You should just play Arcane. Every 6 times you cast Arcane Blast or Arcane Barrage, conjure a Spellfire Sphere. They only have to press Arcane Blast 6 times, and they get a ball.
And that's like all they press, right? So
They're balling.
Ugh, Cat the Shamateur Shaman said as much. Just play Arcane, but no. I would never betray my Fire Mage Extraordinaire, but maybe I have to, just to hold my balls. They're taking my balls.
These birds are stealing my balls. What are these balls doing, gobbling my balls?
Balls.
God, how do we get here?
How does Holy Priest feel?
Yeah, tell us about that.
I mean, like, I'm not max level yet, so I don't have all of the hero talents filled out yet. I feel like I'm like 75, I think. I'm currently running with the Oracle, I think. The one that you have the button and then it gives you like one of 3 different things. And like, I don't really care to manage it right now. I feel like I'm probably going to end up being lazy and just run Archon all the time when I get max level. Unless there's like a weak aura or something that can tell me which buff is going to happen. Or maybe the capstone is that it's all of the buffs happen. I don't know. I really have not looked too much into it. I'll figure it out when I get to max level and start actually doing things. Otherwise, it does not feel much different than it did in the pre-patch, so that's fine. I also have not started leveling my hunter yet, so I don't have anything to say about him yet. My plan was to get my priest to max level and finish the main storyline there, and then go back to my hunter and do the same. So I don't know. I mean, like, it feels fine so far.
Nice. I got my evoker to 76.
Does it feel faster on a second character?
It's so much faster. I have a feeling they're gonna nerf this. So if you are in early access, and you have a max level character, just get your alt into dungeons. I just ran like dungeons for like maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours last night with randos. The queue's so fast, and they give a lot of experience. Maybe like 2 to 3 dungeons a level, and they're pretty fast on normal. We're blowing them up.
I feel like these dungeons are also smaller. I don't know. I've only done the Rookery with my mans, and I've done the Stone Vault a couple times, and I did like An-Khazir, the hidden city. But I don't know. There's less, at least less walking. I feel like every dungeon is only like 3 bosses now, which for me, back in Dragonflight, I feel like Ruby Life Pools was the only one that had 3 bosses, and I remember that being like, it's a walk-on. Like, it's
Yeah.
an easy one.
There were some long dungeons in Dragonflight, and then they brought other long dungeons into the pool when they were cycling out one. So it was just a long dungeon expansion, I feel like.
Oh, wait, just kidding. Never mind. I forgot I did do the Kobold dungeon. That's too long. That final boss takes me like actually 10 calendar minutes. And I'm like, we didn't need to do all this.
Well, were you guys standing in the light, or were you standing outside of the light?
I was trying to stand in the light. I stood next to the big candle, and the darkness was right on top of me. And he said, "You'll never beat me." And all of a sudden, my screen was dark. And I said, actually, how close to this candle do I need to get?
I love the cart scene, like on the way to that boss fight. It's really fucking fun. It's a really
When I
whimsical
played,
area.
people weren't throwing things at him. And I was like, guys, we're in a cart. We only have one thing to do. Throw things at him. And they weren't, so he showed up. He's like, oh, I'm at 99.5%.
Throw the dynamite. I'm trying to think what else we can talk about that's not spoilery here. Got my little notes here. What do you guys think?
Okay, overall vibes of the expansion so far, I really like. I will say, this is another thing, I feel like we say this every time, but like the in-game cutscenes continually just get better every time.
There's also way, way more of them.
That's what I was going to say. And they've gotten really good at like seamlessly weaving them in to the point where like the camera zooms out at the end of some of them. And then you're just like no, like loading any in and out. Like it just zooms out and then you're back in like the real world. I'm like, that was insane. By the way, Blizzard, like what?
It really makes me wonder about the people who skip cutscenes and don't read quest text. Because I'm like, my dude, after like the 11th cutscene you had to press skip on like an hour and a half in, don't you feel like you're missing a little something by that point?
Especially because a lot of it is like I'm thinking of one in Hollow Fall where it's like, important character, get over here. And then you do a thing because of what important character did. And it's like, yeah, if you skipped, what, you just don't know what happened? It's just like, we need to save important character. And it's like, huh?
I will say there were a few where it probably would be okay to skip. In particular, I'm thinking of one in the Isle of Dorn where it's like literally like a 10-second in-game cinematic where some enemies fly over you and then that's it. And then yeah, so like there are some that are like fine, but like I still thought they were cool. I really like the commitment to just throwing as many as possible in, it seems, because like it just makes the main story feel more alive and interactive, I guess.
I really like the story in this one. I feel like I don't know if the power struggle between Danuzer and Chris Metzen shook out for the best or whatnot, but there just seems like a lot of Titan stuff goes on, and I'm really like ready to hear more about that shit. Like the Earthen, I guess I didn't really realize that they just sound like Titan machinery because they're unaffected Earthen. Of course they're gonna sound like fucking Titans.
Even to the point that you meet different groups, and different groups have different dialects, even to the point that, like, so you'll meet like in Isle of Dorn, you meet guys who are committed to the cause. Or Ringing Deeps, you meet guys, the machine heads. It's like, beginning conversation. And I'm like, yeah, but then you see Unbound, and they're like, beginning, hi. And it's like, well, that's neat. That, yeah, it's not everyone here sounds the same. There's actual in lore, in text reasons to be like, oh, this person's trying to talk to you like a person, and then this other one in a different city will talk to you like a computer.
What is your query?
Yeah, there was a quest where it's like, hand out orders to these workers, and every single one said the same thing to me. And I thought like, oh, it's not cycling, but it's like, no, they're only programmed to say one thing. You give them work and it's like, thank you for repairing the core way.
Can I institute a sexiest NPC of the week?
Ooh, of
Yeah.
course.
And I just want to say that this week's sexiest NPC of the week is an NPC that has stolen my heart so far.
The thief.
And it's none other than Speaker Brinth, baby.
Ooh.
I mean, like, okay, first off, I'm not gonna get too spoiler heavy here, but like, I just think that she is such a badass, and she's just by far my favorite character I've seen so far. I know I've only gone through like half of the story so far, but like, I just love her character. I love her interactions with everyone so far. Also, just like Doc Ock vibes. That's hot.
Ooh, you know she's got those arms. You could be snuggling and then you just feel a metal protuberance around back. And it's like, "Whoa!" It's like, I'm going to finger your butthole. And it's like, oh, Speaker Brinth. I didn't even know that was on the table.
Please take the drill off before getting into bed, Speaker Branth. I'm not having another incident.
You can keep the Doc Ock 3-prong tentacle, but just the drill, please, no thank you. Or at least substitute it with something a little more sensual.
And you know that like eye contact will be very sensual with her one robo eye.
She has no social cues because she's like a robot. So yeah, it'll be like, ooh, you're making so much eye contact. And it's like, should I not? I assume that was what lovers do while in the midst of coitus.
Choose a number for best position. 69 again.
1 for missionary.
Why can we never? 11, 2 adults standing up, giving each other a hug. Hell
That's
yeah,
all.
Brent. No, and I really do love her, and I love that she's just super cool. I wish she showed up more. Spoilers. I wish she wasn't just the machine head. I wanted her to be my little buddy throughout the rest of the story. Smish.
I mean, she's one of probably... There's not that many NPCs where you can go to their actual house and see the actual bed they have to sleep on. That's all I'm saying.
Ooh, I'm surprised she even has a bed to sleep on.
Right?
She doesn't just power down in the corner of her room.
Do they even sleep? Real talk?
Not really spoilers, but in the inns, they said that they have the inns because of visitors who came. I think it's the Arathi who came first. So they just have set up beds for people who will be visiting.
It's crazy. The entire nation was like, we need to make some beds. These weirdos keep showing up, and sometimes they fall down.
They're so inclusive.
We need to make sure they fall down.
In comfort.
You don't have confirmation that the beds aren't made of like bedrock though, so I don't know how comfortable they are.
What do you mean? They are not a suitable bed. Bed rock. It is in the name.
Speaker Brent, that's why you are our sexiest NPC of the week, because you gonna make that bed rock.
Okay, Nikki.
Call me Fred Flintstone.
Okay, so I also, I was looking for this list. So I figured that because it's early access, there were some things that we just couldn't do. Have you guys gone to the theater in Isle of Dorn?
No, but I saw you do it.
It keeps threatening me. When I was flying around Isle of Dorn doing dailies, it was like, hey, by the way, theater's starting in 10. And I was like, what? And by the time I finished, it was like, oh, you just missed it. I'll see you in an hour. And so, no, I can't say that I've been a patron as of yet.
So you're not missing much. So it's not yet, at least. It's one of the so there's world activities in each zone, and this is one of them that's like currently kind of locked down until everybody can play. But there is straight up like an amphitheater in the Isle of Dorn where they put on shows, and it's when I first got there, I thought it was gonna be like a cooking thingy, and it kind of is, but it's more so like a time rift. But you have to do the activity assigned to you. So that's where it's more like the cooking event. A timer starts and it'll be like, go handle the arguing actors. And you go talk to people and be like, hey, you should make this person take a dive, or you should be the star of the show and push them over or whatever. Oh, and then it's like, okay, you did that task. Now go pull some weeds or go paint a set. And you do this whole little fucking silly scenario while a play takes place in front of you, kind of like the Night Fae Conservatory play that would happen.
You know, I was telling Slidewhistle, I feel like this is another confirmation of the two-team theory, because, you know, every other expansion we have some kind of theater that we have to fuck around with.
It's probably the most spoilery we'll get, and it's not even really a spoiler, but if you're that concerned, I guess you do want to hear about one of the theater troupe events. Take a walk for like 3 minutes. But the first event I was doing, one of the cast members, do you know who the fuck he was?
Who?
He was playing the role of Arcadis. My fucking boy, Arcadis.
You gotta think they probably worship those guys in like a serious way. So it's like, that's like being cast as JC in the Passion play. It's like, oh my god, he gets to be Arcadis. I just get to be Iron, yeah.
But it's weird because like, so is the Isle of Dorne where all earthen were like all dwarves started? Like, did dwarven stuff start there? Because Arcadis, obviously, look at where Khaz Algar is, and look at where Arcadis would be living, which would be, was it Eastern Kingdoms? Like, how the fuck did he get all the way over there?
Secret tunnels.
But he was like basically freeing them from like over oppressive watcher or something, or maybe he was over oppressive watcher. I was so excited about Arcadis that I was like, is that really fucking Arcadis right now? Like, so it's just interesting. I don't know how many plays there are, how many little events there are, but I was painting sets for Arcadis. He was loving it.
We have one play. What is more important than Arcadis getting us away from the evil watchers?
But
we gather every 40 minutes to watch it, and we love it every time.
I'm waiting for the Iron Yaw one, but you know, I haven't seen it yet. But it's supposed.
How did she end up in? Where was she even? Like, Medivh's silly place, right?
No.
Or wait, or was she the one next to the Indiana Jones? She was the one next to the Indiana Jones reference.
I think she's in the dungeon with Arcadis, right? She's in his dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
But so it's supposed to give, like, you know, it has like an amateur actor's chest if you didn't do so well, or a novice actor's chest, or an expert actor's chest based on how many people contributed to it. None of that was even available. That wasn't even happening. So there's several like world events. There's one in the Machine Head area. There's the Light event in Hollowfall, and there's a Pact in Ashkahet. None of that's even live yet. So like we're gonna have a lot more shit to do once Monday comes around for release, official release.
So for pre-releasers, like, it's really just to experience the story, the zones, and level effectively. And like, what's the best you can do? Gear in normal dungeons, I suppose.
Some rares do drop higher eye level gear, but it's that thing where it's like a chance, so it's not guaranteed. I got a blue from a rare that was like 561, 564, but it was male. So I put it in my warband bank for my evoker when he hits 80. But I'm like, can I get some cloth, please, for my squirmy?
Yeah, now you know the pain of the clothy, like Aaron and I over here.
Girl.
Whoa, shit, y'all. Are we a cloth wearing podcast now?
I guess, yeah. We're a bunch of dresses.
We've been clothies before.
I guess, yeah. When you were your mage, but it just I don't know. It feels weird. I don't want y'all stealing my wardrobe. Smish.
Oh yeah.
Hands off my skirts.
Raid's gonna be a fight for clothes.
I mean, I'll probably be on my hunter and raid though, if I'm being honest. Depending on what we need though. Like I signed up as both on the questionnaire, which Lynn finally released. So like I don't know what we'll need honestly. I want to see the results.
Curious what we're gonna end up having. We got like one group of 6 coming in, but I feel like we've had enough people like go to a different guild, or Persephone's trying mythic raiding this tier, so she won't even be raiding with us probably.
Ooh,
so it means more gear for the rest of us.
She's getting one of her kids. She said, "Which one of you has the fastest fingers?"
Well, I think
you, Tyler. You don't have to cook as much. Focus up. Learn how to mythic raid.
Like Gurgi poached her because she's in Gurgi's guild. She was like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm gonna be doing mythic raiding with the guild, and I'm not leaving. I just want you to know, blah blah blah. I want people to be aware." And I'm like, "That's fine. Go do whatever the hell you want. Like whatever. We've done it before." But then I looked at her armory, and it's Gurgi's guild, and I'm like, Gurgi, if you keep recruiting people, I'm gonna have to pop you in the mouth.
Also, like, I don't know, I'm fine with people going off and experiencing mythic raiding, how intense it is, how much of a commitment it is, and realize it's not for them and then come back to us. So that's what always happens, so.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, it's an intense area. It depends on your group, right? Like we got lucky with some like okay groups. I feel like Dust of Jobs was really good, and then it became weird. Like be super good central, talk about parses all the time central, and we were like, all right, that's enough. That's enough mythic raiding. I think for this round.
I'm like, I'm just here because I want to have fun. I don't know. I don't want y'all to micromanage how I play the game.
Ugh, I remember Straight fell like that. And we were doing some mythic raids, and they said, "What's this variation on levels of damage done? We need everyone to do the same amount of damage, so when you look at the graph, it's straight."
One line.
I said, "I don't know if we should take our name that seriously." And they said, "Everything's serious and straight."
Wait, but then wouldn't the damage be homogenous?
Ah! And someone pointed that out, and the leader of Straight in 8th grade crumbled the dust. And then we all went our separate ways, like the X-Men.
I've been, okay, so as a Shadow Priest, nobody can beat me in a duel. So I've been dabbling in the PvP a little bit.
He has been. Comp Stomp has actually been stomping him. Those computers have been beating him.
No. What? First of all, why are you spreading lies on the internet? You can't lie on the internet. We beat the robots, first of all, but they're putting up a hell of a fight.
I was going to say, when I looked over, they had like 4 of your bases.
They only had 4 of the bases for a second.
There's been a lot of that going around, and I don't know if maybe they'll unlock the key and let me let me whoop some ass later. Even like if 2 random enemies come up to me at level 80, I have to pop combustion or else I'm gonna die. I'm like, I am getting stomped out here, and I don't know why. I feel like never in a past expansion have I had to fight for my life this hard at like max level.
Yeah, the health varies a lot between some of the things I've seen in zones. The bees, oh my god, the bees are so fucking scary. Stay away from the bees, they'll kill you. But in PvP and in Comp Stomp, the reason it's happening is because the robots have baseline honor gear, which is a boost to eye level in PvP. But nobody in early access can get honor gear. So by default, the robots are like have like 4,000 to 5,000 more health than we do. So we're basically fighting like elites. Their whole team is made of elites, and we're just dueling with them. But I also was doing world PvP as a Shadow Priest, and I was killing people, and I'm like, okay, this is a great sign. Because if I'm losing, I need to switch.
Would you say you were melting their faces off?
I would absolutely say that. Beating a paladin in a duel, not easy. How's war mode been for you, Aaron?
Oh, it's been great. No, I have to own up to it. I hate to say, everyone, I didn't do it in war mode. If only because at the beginning of the story, I was in a safe area where I could have turned it on, but then it became unsafe. And then all the way in the Isle of Dorne, it was not a place where I could turn war mode on. And it was not until I got to Dornagal that I realized, like, oh, this is probably like a hub city now. I can turn it on. But I was like, well, if you're not at 80, someone is faster than me. There's some horde guy. If I'm level 72, they're level 73, and they'll beat me up with their supreme skills. So I was like, tell you what, I'm going to keep it off until I'm 80. Then I'm going to see what it's all about. And then I got to 80, and then I was just like, I don't know. I've given up.
Maybe Monday we should get all the level 80s to line up in war mode and blow them up.
We're the guy. Everyone's like, oh no, the big city, something happened to it. And then we'll just be like, yeah, something's going to happen to you. Good luck calling for the rest of the horde when we're beating you up.
The game strip starts warning us, y'all, you're not getting anything for killing these level 71 hordes. And we're like, we know, just personal satisfaction.
I already have a trinket that turns me into an ascended Nerubian. I can just spam that thing, and then they won't even know. They'll be like, some meanie's beating me up on the beach. And Ian will look at it and be like, yes, it is a spider.
I have that trinket too. I use it. We could just make an army of Nerubians.
Have y'all noticed how like a lot of the quests now at the bottom just are like very transparent about really odd things. Like we mentioned it earlier, it's like this contributes to unlocking the Earthen allied race. But then I remember one of the quest chains is like, when we were in Dornegal, like for the first time, it was like, you won't be able to shop here at this time.
Don't buy anything. The market's closed while you're hanging out here. Which area was that in?
It was like when we first arrived at Dornegal and needed to like clear it out. Like it clarified at the bottom. It's like, you can't do normal city things here yet.
There's a bunch of rocks in front of the herbalist place. You can't train herbalism yet. Gotta get rid of the rocks.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. And I feel like, I'm like, I guess. I mean, like, sure. I feel like it's pretty obvious because the city's on like fire, but you know.
You meet up with that guy from the Rookery, and it's like, you are my trusted friend and ally. And at the bottom, it's like, you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, fuck that dude.
that's not going to be going for too long.
What expansion have you been reminded of by questing so far? Anyone in particular?
I will say, okay, when I first landed, I was getting BFA vibes, in particular Azuna, for some reason. That was the vibe I got. Maybe it's just because it was like, we landed on the beach.
Ooh,
but like,
Azuna and BFA?
isn't that what it is?
That's a Legion zone, dummy. Ha ha ha, goofy.
You thinking of Stormsong Valley? No. Where did you
No,
first
I
land
think
in
I
BFA?
literally just fucked up, and I'm thinking of Legion. Because like,
Old man brain. Old
31.
yeah, I guess. Hello, olds. I'm old now. But I don't know. But then I think overall, though, I will say that like, it feels different than anything to me. Still, I don't know. I feel like it feels like a good combination of a lot of my favorite parts of the past expansions. I feel like they've really gotten good at just like streamlining the quests, but then also having a bunch of like really meaningful side quests. I like, does each zone only have like 3 chapters of like the core story as opposed to like 8?
Yes.
So like,
Yes.
I feel like that's nice
Yeah.
in a way, but then there are a lot of side quests that also are important, but like so like I assume this is good for people who really only want to do like the main storyline, but like it's very transparent about what is like main or side. I also am getting I'm getting some Shadowlands vibes in some things, which maybe people will be offended about, but like I like Shadowlands, so like it's a compliment from me.
Yeah, it feels very new. It's got some BFA splashes, some Legion splashes. It's got some splashes of all the expansions I feel like that we have been playing, but a lot of it feels different. Like, I don't know, like the setup of Dornegal feels almost foreign to me. Like, it's such a weird layout, and I can't really tell where anything is.
The city itself.
Yeah, like the city
I feel like
itself.
most new cities, I like within like a few hours just kind of can figure out where everything is, but like on that one too, I'm like, what is happening? Where am I? I was just gonna say that like I love how the bank and the auction house are like literally right next to each other. But then I thought it was weird that like, so are all like, is one like half of the city just professions or like in a big ring? Is that what it is?
I don't know. Is it? You tell me.
I
haven't
don't know.
seen it.
I mean, then it also doesn't help that there's like a literal hole in the middle of it to go down to the next zone. So like, I don't know. It is foreign. You're
Yeah.
right. I think that's a good way of describing it. It's different than any hub city we've seen.
It gives me big Zandalar vibes, if only because it's like, this is just too large. This is far too large. But the only reason that I'm okay with it, that I'm not like, terrible city, is because they were just like, you can fly from the beginning. Like they knew that it was gonna be a flyable city, so it's like, well, we'll spread it out. We'll give you a bunch of big buildings.
Oh, and not
to
even
go
just
to.
fly. It's like you can like straight up drag and ride here. So like immediately, like
Mhm.
in the first quest line of the expansion, they're like, yeah, here you go, dragon riding.
Yeah, it feels really good going between the zones. I like the underground area. If it's a good use of space, it feels like. But now it's time for our top 2, bottom boot, medium moot. Immune, kick us off.
Okay, I have a top 2, baby. This is a light spoiler, but not really. I will just say that after, what is this, years of drought, it feels like, we have our first nippler of the expansion. And, like in the first dungeon that we experienced, I think the final boss will confirm nippler, correct?
Yes, there is. It is a being made of evil energy, and it comes up and it's just a vaguely torso humanoid shape. But I did look, there's a bunch of darkness going down below it, so we don't see the whole body.
Yeah, and I believe you can technically attack it from 3 sides, but not the back. So I don't remember exactly what our
That's
qualifications were,
true.
but I think that was it, right?
Yes, that makes it a true nippler. 360 degrees, that's a proto. We don't count those, but only 270, that's real.
Yeah, no, we have a new ideal nippler. When was the last time we had one?
Taros, the Rock Man in Vaults of the Incarnates.
That was forever ago, too, by this point.
Mm-hmm. Hello, everyone. Editing Aaron. I did not catch at the time that Immune said true nippler, which is not Taros from Dragonflight. We, in fact, have to roll it back 4 years ago to Muzala from the other side in Shadowlands. So, yeah, almost half a decade. Glad that we're back in a major way.
Yeah, so I feel like this is definitely top 2 worthy. So yes, I'm very happy about that. Slide, what do you have?
I have a top 2. While exploring Dornegal, I found my lady. Oh my god, I forgot her name. Black Market Auction House lady, Madam Goya. That's why I forgot, because they betrayed me with the Donald.
Yeah, she said, "Ha, vote Donald Trump."
I mean, very shady of her to do that, and she's truly found the shadiest place to be.
Yeah.
Although I will say, I don't know if this has happened in the past. The cops know where she is. You can go to the guards and ask where she is, and they'll tell you. Is that a thing that's been in past expansions?
I don't remember if they marked her on your map in Dragonflight or not.
I don't think that they did, no.
I guess the Earthen don't know she's shady yet, right? They're like,
I mean, you see where she is, though. Like, that whole area is shady. Or do the Earthen just not understand? Are they not programmed to understand what shady is?
they probably don't, because she's in this little alleyway, and it's kind of like this dark, scary alleyway. And also, Grifta is in this alleyway, along with some, like, pirate cutthroat people. So I'm like, what is going on down here? But so I was like, where is she? Let me see her. I see she had a black market auction house container, and I was like, I haven't gotten one in a while. It was only 200K, so I was like, I'll buy it. And then somebody outbid me, but it was on short, which means it says less than 30 minutes remaining on the timer. That means it could be done in 5 minutes, it could be done in 30 minutes, but it's gonna end at some point soon. We kept outbidding each other, and I'm like, I'll just wait. I'm gonna sit down and wait a little bit. This fucking price got up to 420K, and I was like, fine, I'll bid on that. And then I was like, fuck, maybe I should just save that gold for leveling engineering on my Shadow Priest. Cause it's gonna be expensive to buy the fucking ore, I assume.
Oh my god, and that reminds me, we didn't talk about it, but like I'm kind of like annoyed, pissed, upset that we're gonna have to re-level all of our professions again, because that was my least favorite part at the beginning of Dragonflight, trying to figure out what I needed to level first.
Vanderlyle did it earlier today, or like late yesterday, and I was like, how? How you do that? I have been trying to level alchemy, and I'm at 24 hard locked, and like I can't even make potions to up my skills anymore. I have to depend on finding magic potions in the field to get my levels up.
It's got a lot of flowers.
Flower.
Anyway, so I bought I won it. I won the fucking thing after hoping somebody who buys it off of me. I was like, they can keep it. I got it. I cracked it open, and I fucking got the mythic N'Zoth mount, the Nyalotha Allseer, the purple floaty guy with all the eyeballs on it. And I was like, what? Mounts are in this thing? It's not just fucking plate wrists I couldn't wear before? So now I got my Shadow Priest riding around on a fucking eyeball guy, and I'm like, this is a sign. Maybe I gotta hang on to Squirm from N'Zoth, our father himself.
And at this point, that was probably the rarest thing you could have gotten from that, because like you can technically get the Brutosaur from it, but you already have that, right?
Yeah, it would be useless to me. I wouldn't be able to trade it, I don't think. Like, you can get like Invincible and stuff from there, but like this, like, I don't know how easy it even is to go kill N'Zoth these days. Like, what do you have to do extra steps to kill him? Like, I don't know.
I honestly haven't thought about killing N'Zoth in a very long time, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think just going back to that area will be enough pain in the ass to not want to do it in the first place. So yeah, this is your sign to spend ludicrous amounts of money and pick it up. What about you, Aaron? What's your top two, bottom boot, medium moot?
Well, the true thing that really knocked my socks off that I thought about giving a top two to is a big spoiler, so I'm going to save it for next week because I still think it'll be impressive next week. But I got to say, unfortunately, I do have a medium moot this week.
Medium moot.
Medium moot.
And it's really just that I've entered a parasitic relationship Growlina can make balls again for the first time in almost a decade, but I have this roommate who comes and steals my balls all the time. And I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know if I'm sure when I log on to like Icy Veins, it's like, what are you even doing running Arcane Trickster? You need to run Freezer Burn. And then maybe my troubles will be over. But I don't know. I have this bird man. He comes, he steals what little balls I can make. And my only solace is that after 45 seconds, he'll die. And then I don't need to see him for one more minute.
That ball goblin bird.
Speaking of a bunch of...
No.
Speaking of some nice people, we're talking about our patrons. They include Ahoy Vince, NSYNC/Drag Race, Azarin, Digital Dave, asking Growlina to say, for the Horde. Kat, the Shamateur Shaman. Mitch wants to remind everyone that Rathion isn't daddy. He's a literal child. Crucifix Alternator. Saracen Hawk. Chris M. Kick Buncher. Dr. Foster. Grumpy Old Shaman. Jerome Adorno. Losing the Patient, Gershie Super Squirt Day, Duff, the Horde Pooper, Cooper, Calcus, a Dagrin Stan. And there's a lot to stand in this expansion.
No, for sure, I am too.
Cilantro, Wooly, Slidewhistle Secret Stalker, Teehee, Adam N, Vanderlyle, and Will, aka Tire, Trade Chat's Fallen Father.
Thank you, patrons. We love you and your butts. If you guys have any comments, questions, complaints, send them on over to donotrelenttpod@gmail.com. Access all of our accessible links at donotrelent.com. What about you two machine heads? Where are you? Oh, in the ringing deep.
Well, you see, you can find me, Speaker Immunization, or Alex, on Twitter at NewEraAlex, or on Blue Sky at Immunization.
You can find me, hi, Speaker Aaron.
Shit.
Yeah, I outranked you. I have a bunch of guys pulling my big chair through all of the railroads, and you can't stop me.
I fucking lost it at the clap.
But you can find me on Twitter at TheBigAcheesy and watch me stream Vigigrams at twitch.tv/AaronDNR. I'll be streaming to get you all that horse soon, or you can go to the DNR Discord, where 5 minutes from now I'll be streaming 15 minutes to get my pet, and then never again.
Slide and I did that last night.
By the time that you hear this, it will be too late.
One day rolls around, y'all better fucking catch up on the campaign, because we are not holding spoilers back next week. We're gonna throw them out so fast, you're not gonna know what to do with them.
Amen.
Hit it, Lyndon.
Another down! Do not relent!
Do Not Relent is a podcast within the 3HNC network, representing U.S. Proudmoore's premier podcasts.
That was a very good wish.